Alright, you lot. You ever seen a fanboy backpedal so fast he nearly reverse ejects his own spine? Steam numbers drop faster than Activision standards, and suddenly it's just Steam, just a weekday. Don't count, bro. Bollocks. Today we're going in dry. No lube and straight through bullshit. I'm talking about delusional ass-sniffing CoD cultists who treat Activision's PR like scripture and act like Steam's public numbers as somehow fake news. This isn't a commentary. This is a verbal napalm run over fanboy stupidity. Strap in. I'm going full scorched earth. Let's start with current state of fanboy Fantasyland, with Steam player count only matters when it makes them feel hard. Back in 2022, when Modern Warfare 2 launched and hit 488,000 peak players on Steam, these same COD dick riders were frothing at tips, screaming, "See? PC gamers love COD! Look at those numbers!" Now that Warzone's Verdansk nostalgia bait only managed to bump count to 138k, it's suddenly, "Oh no, bruv, that's just Steam, don't count. Real ones play on console." You are? That's like bragging about your six-pack at pub and then blaming lighting when you show up looking like a microwave lasagna. Steam is only platform giving us raw, uncut data. No inflated MAU bollocks, no mobile bots, no engagement metrics that count someone farting near their Xbox. Just real players. In real time. And it's telling us loud and clear, this franchise is bleeding out, and fanboys are too busy licking wound. Weekday dip, they say. Mate, CS2 is pulling 1.3 million on a fucking Tuesday, while your beloved Warzone can barely crack 100k with Return at most type map. But now, let's ignore that, right? Let's pretend a weekday is some mythical anti-gamer void where nobody plays unless it's Fortnite or Valorant. Jesus wept. If the Steam graph makes you sweat this hard, maybe you're not defending a good game, you're defending your own bad decisions. And let's not forget Steam elitist and BattleNet apologist overnight, like a cult that found a new profit in a launcher UI. Real players are on BattleNet, they scream, as if that's some badge of honour. Mate, BattleNet's a prison Activision built, and you fuckers decorated it like a palace. You've been locked in their ecosystem for years, funneled in like cattle to a microtransaction slaughterhouse, and now you're proud of it? Steam don't count? You don't count, you absolute plank. And if you're going to defend COD's numbers falling faster than a Warzone chopper with no fuel, at least come up with a new excuse that don't sound like it were written by a toddler with an heat stroke. Activision's turned gaslighting into an Olympic sport, and fanboys are practically begging for a gold medal in Stockholm Syndrome. It's not just that player count on Steam is dropping, it's that drop were entirely predictable. Warzone's big Verdansk return wasn't to come back. It were a reheated corpse, microwaved in nostalgia, and served on a paper plate full of lag, broken servers and microtransaction pop-ups. But Activision knew fans would eat that shit up. Why? Because they trained them to. They'd spent years boiling frog. First it were loot boxes, then it was store bundles. Now it's a 20 quid operator skin based on influencers with less personality than a pub carpet. And kicker? More they took away, more these smooth-brained twats defended it. But it's free to play. Free to play? Mate, it costs more to fully kit out your soldier in Warzone than it does to pay monthly rent in fucking Yorkshire. And still the lineup. Wallets out, lips puckered. Meanwhile, Activision's execs are laughing the coked up asses off on a yacht somewhere while little Timmy's mum is unknowingly funding a battle pass addiction that'd make a Vegas slot machine blush. Let's not forget Bobby Kotick himself. Under oath, said over half COD player base is on mobile and majority at rest are on PC. But do fanboys care? Nah. To them, Bobby's a false prophet unless he's confirming the favourite map is returning or that skill-based matchmaking ain't that bad. You can literally show up numbers, quotes, reality, and they'll still defend this franchise like it's the Dying Grand's recipe book. Mate, they've been so thoroughly psychologically bent over, they'll excuse out. Shit servers? It's launch weekend. Pay-to-win blueprints? Skill issue. Steam drop-off? It's just a weekday. Full collapse? It's just new era gaming. It's not an era, you bellends. It's a fucking hostage situation. And what about absolute skid marks or integrity known as CoD influencers? You know what ones? Sponsored to eyeballs, grinning like lobotomised clowns while shilling a broken game they secretly fucking hate. These bellends are like digital ventriloquist dolls. Hands up arse. Activision script in the mouths. Verdansk is back, baby. Back? Mate, it's not back. It's been resurrected with Grace or a necrophiliac at a wake. But these influencer clowns? Oh, they'll pretend it's second coming. New bundles? Fire. Meta shifts? Spicy. Skinny ass gun balancing? Just gotta adapt, bro. Meanwhile, they're editing out crashes, cutting lag, and gaslighting their audiences harder than Activision gaslights investors. And don't give me that, they're just doing the job crap. If your job is to knowingly lie to your viewers, mislead kids into buying broken garbage, and pretend SBMM is good at game, then congratulations, you're not a content creator, you're a digital pimp in an Activision brothel. And worst part, these twats always act surprised when their audience turns on them. Guys, I didn't know game were broken. Really? You got 600 hours played, 5 bundles equipped, and you were flown out to LA to beta test build that played like a slideshow in a blender. But sure, you didn't notice. Half of these influencers only call out game when it's safe to do so, when tide's already turned, and it's no longer profitable to keep shilling. They're not leaders. The barnacle riding leechers who'll switch their opinion faster than a Warzone TTK. You want real kicker? When numbers drop on Steam or console, the pivot to new hotness, X-Define, Final, Helldivers, pretending like they were just covering all shooters all along. Nah, mate, we remember when you told us CoD was the best state it's ever been. We remember you saying Verdansk were game-changing. We remember bollocks. And now we're calling it art. This isn't just a game in decline, it's a media ecosystem built on lies, fear and profit margins. Time for real funeral dirge. Soulless parade at dev teams who used to make games and now just polish storefronts with urgency or a desperate OnlyFans model. Let's get one thing straight, I don't hate developers, I hate what they've become. Once upon a time, these were the same kinds of weird, brilliant bastards who'd stay up all night, handcrafting maps, obsessing over gun feel, sweating bullets over spawn logic. Now they're slaves to engagement metrics, corporate data insights, and some MBA wanker with spreadsheet fetish. Want to fix movement? Too bad. Algorithm says slower players have better retention. Want to remove SBMM? Can't. It keeps casuals feeling competitive, which translates to spending more money after a pity win. You think it's coincidence that every gun fight feels like a PowerPoint presentation during a knife fight? It's not netcode, it's not skill expression, it's intentional algorithm engineered bollocks, crafted to frustrate just enough to make you buy a new skin, grind one more tier, rage quit, and then return. And don't give me that tired dev blog pish about community feedback. You know what they do with feedback? They sift it out for Twitter shills and TikTok morons. Ignore everyone else and throw in talk and patch note like, we adjusted spawn logic in certain situations on selected maps. Translation? We changed fuck all. But please keep playing until next 30 quid anime bundle drops. You know what really tells me dev's soul has gone? Every new patch is a goddamn marketing event. Not a gameplay overall, not a celebration of creativity. Just another weekly drip feed of content so cynical it could have been written by a stockbroker with a gambling addiction. And final insult? When game flops, it's not execs who take it, it's some poor junior designer laid off with 2 weeks notice while execs dive headfirst into another Scrooge McDuck coin pool. So don't come at me with devs are doing the best. They're either part of the machine or being crushed under it. Either way it results the same. A game built by spreadsheets, managed by cowards and defended by twonks. You still defending this shit show, still sat there clutching your 20 quid operator skin like it's a comfort blanket while game collapses around you like a wet tent at Glastonbury. Grow up. This isn't just a bad patch. It's not a slow weekday. It's rotting carcass of a franchise held together with duct tape, denial and overpriced cosmetics. And if you're still bootlicking Activision while pretending Steam don't count, PC players don't matter, and the SBMM is fine actually, You are fucking problem. Verdansk didn't save CoD, just reminded us how far it's fallen. You're not a loyal fan, you're a deluded pay pig trapped in a microtransaction farmyard, squealing with joy every time trough refills. But it's good news, champ. There's a growing army of resistance, rage-fueled, sharp-tongued, and dumb being polite. But we're not here to hug it out, we're here to torch industry's lies, laugh at its clowns, and drag this festering corpse of a franchise into daylight until rats scatter. So if you're still breathing after this verbal headshot, join Discord, follow on X, and if you're mad enough, grab that membership and get in trenches with us. All links are in the description, you filthy legends. Smash that like button like it owes you money, hit subscribe, and drop your rants, questions or unfiltered filthy comments. If it's not bollocks, might just make it in future tech down. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.